You are absolutely not going to believe what happened. Seriously, pull up a chair, get comfortable, because this is a wild one. My ex, Mark, Mark, he's 34, and honestly, he was such a simp. He let his ex-girlfriend wear my clothes and sleep in our bed while I was working overseas. I know, right? Holy crap. And the best part? Our nosy neighbors sent me the pictures. And that's when I decided, nope, I'm just staying overseas. Let him figure it out. I'm Stephanie, I'm 31, and I'm still kind of processing it all. Like, who does that? When Mark and I first met, it was at this pretty boring work event. He was, like, super attentive. Always listening, always trying to please everyone. He was what you'd call a too nice guy. Always over-accommodating, avoiding conflict at all costs. I thought, okay, finally, someone who won't argue with me. And yeah, I like that. Who wouldn't? He was kind of sweet, a bit of a doormat, honestly. I thought I could mold him. We moved in together pretty fast. My friends, they were always like, Steph, are you sure about him? He seems a little passive. But whatever, what do they know? I thought I was in love. Or at least I thought I was. The thing about Mark is, he always had this way of making me feel like I was the bad guy if I didn't get what I wanted. Like if I wanted to go on a trip, and he said we couldn't afford it, I'd just get quiet. And then he'd get all worried. What's wrong, Steph? Are you mad? And then I'd sigh, dramatically. No, it's fine. I just really wanted to go. And boom, suddenly we were planning the trip, even if it meant dipping into his savings. It was just easier that way. Emotional manipulation, pure and simple. And the money? Oh God. From the very beginning, I made it clear, my money was for my stuff, and his money was for our stuff. So, my paycheck, it went into my separate account, for my shopping, my nails, my little treats. His money? That went into the joint account, covering rent, bills, groceries, car payments, everything. And if I ever dared to ask about it, even gently, he'd get all hurt. Are you saying I'm not providing enough for you, Steph? I'm trying my best. And then I'd end up apologizing to him. It was exhausting. I remember one time, he wanted to buy a new game console. And I looked at him and said, Do you really need that, Mark, when we have bills to pay? Meanwhile, I was ordering a new designer bag online. Between us, I wanted to scream sometimes at how oblivious he was. He always had this public persona, too. When we were out with my friends, he'd be all charming, laughing, telling jokes, acting like the perfect boyfriend. My friends would be like, Steph, he's such a good guy. And I'd just smile and nod. But then we'd get home, and it's like he'd flip a switch. Suddenly, he was checked out, emotionally distant, tired, just disengaged. He'd just be on his phone, scrolling, not really listening to anything I said. If I ever tried to talk about something serious, he'd just stare at me blankly or say, You're being dramatic, Steph. It's not that serious. My feelings were always invalidated. Like, he'd totally rewrite history, remembering his mistakes, but forgetting his own. And the social media? Oh, that was a whole other thing. I loved to post about our relationship highlights on Facebook. Perfectly posed pictures of us at fancy restaurants, or on vacation, with cheesy captions like, So blessed to have this amazing man in my life. Meanwhile, at home, we'd barely be talking. It was all for show, for validation, for getting those likes. And if he ever tried to post something, anything that wasn't about me, I'd get weird. Who are you trying to impress, Mark? You know I don't like it when you put our business out there. Double standards, much? And I always checked his phone, too. Just to make sure he wasn't doing anything inappropriate. My privacy was mine, of course, but his was fair game. So, a few months ago, this amazing opportunity came up at my job. An overseas assignment in London. For 6 months. It was a huge deal, a chance to really boost my career. Mark, of course, wasn't thrilled. But what about us, Steph? He whined. What about the house? What about everything? And I just rolled my eyes. It's just for 6 months, Mark. We'll FaceTime. You can hold down the fort here. He was always so dependent, always wanting me to discourage his growth or hobbies that didn't include me. He even got really insecure about me being so far away, always asking me about my male coworkers, wrapping his jealousy as concern. Before I left, I gave him a whole list of instructions. What to do with the mail, how to water the plants, what to do with the bills. And I told him, specifically, no parties. No random people over. And definitely no exes. I knew he was still in touch with his ex-girlfriend, Bethany, from time to time. She was a real piece of work, that one. Always trying to compare herself to me, always leaving passive-aggressive comments on my Facebook posts. I mentally labeled her a bitch, of course. She's just a friend, Steph. Mark would always say. Yeah, right. I always felt like he was a secret keeper, maintaining inappropriate boundaries with her. I got to London, and at first, it was great. I was working hard, making new friends, exploring the city. Mark and I would FaceTime almost every day. He'd tell me how much he missed me, how quiet the house was without me. He'd even send me pictures of the living room, all clean and tidy, to show me he was being responsible. I thought, okay, maybe he's not so useless after all. He made promises about us going on a big trip when I got back, being all future faker. He was all about getting grand gestures, but he gave minimal effort himself. Then, about 3 months into my assignment, things started getting weird. His calls became shorter. He'd make excuses for why he couldn't FaceTime. Oh, my internet's acting up. Or, I'm just really tired, Steph. And then, the texts started. Not from Mark, but from our neighbors. A few of them, actually. They were just, casual at first. Hey Steph, how's London? Just saw someone coming out of your house, thought you should know. And I just brush it off. Oh, that's probably just Mark's cousin helping him with something. I'd always gaslight him into questioning his perceptions, and now I was doing it to myself, too. But then, the pictures started. The first one was just a blurry shot of a car I didn't recognize parked in our driveway. Okay, whatever. But then, a few days later, another one. This time, it was a clearer shot. And there she was. Bethany. Mark's ex. And she was wearing my favorite sweater. The one I left on the back of the chair in the living room. My stomach dropped. Holy crap. What the hell was going on? I immediately called Mark. My voice was shaking, but not from sadness, from pure rage. Mark, what the hell is going on? Why is Bethany at our house? And why is she wearing my sweater? Silence. Then, Steph, baby, it's not what you think. He stammered. She was just helping me with something. Helping him with what? Undressing? Helping you with something? And wearing my clothes? I yelled. He tried to explain, tried to say she was just staying over, because her apartment had a plumbing issue, and she needed a place to crash. And that she accidentally grabbed my sweater instead of hers. Right. Like I was born yesterday. He was such a convenience apologist, only apologizing when it benefited him. But the pictures kept coming. From different neighbors now, like they were competing to give me the most dirt. And they got worse. Pictures of Bethany, not just wearing my sweater, but my sweatpants. My slippers. Her walking around the house, looking all comfortable, like she owned the place. And then, the ultimate slap in the face, a picture of her, in our bed, snuggled up under our duvet. My blood ran cold. My bed. The one we shared. And she was in it. That low-life bitch. I called Mark again, and this time, I didn't bother trying to stay calm. You let her sleep in our bed, Mark? You let her wear my clothes? While I'm over here, working my butt off to pay for our house, our life? You're disgusting. He started crying then, the fake, sniveling tears he always used to get out of trouble. Steph, baby, I swear, it's not like that. She was just a friend. You don't understand. Oh, I understood all right. I understood everything. He was a complete pushover, and she was a manipulative witch. I told him I was done. I told him to keep his precious Bethany and his messy house. I told him I was going to stay in London. And then, I did something really smart. I talked to my boss. I explained the situation vaguely, about a family emergency, that meant I needed to extend my stay. And she was surprisingly understanding. So, I signed a new contract. I got a new, smaller, much more affordable apartment in London. I even got a raise. And I just cut Mark off. Blocked his number, blocked him on Facebook, everything. Turns out, Mark was completely unprepared to be on his own. He was always so dependent on me, on my income, on me handling everything. Without my money to cover everything, he started falling behind on the bills. The house, which I had put a significant down payment on, started to go downhill. The yard was overgrown, the paint started peeling, the pipes started leaking. He couldn't afford the repairs. He lost his job because he was so distracted, constantly calling me, trying to get me to come back, to forgive him. Professional destruction. No one wants to hire someone who can't manage their personal life, let alone their work. And Bethany? Oh, she didn't stick around for long. As soon as she realized Mark was broke and couldn't support her, she was gone. She only wanted him for his ability to provide a place to stay, or whatever, while I was gone. Ultimate isolation for him. He was stuck in that dilapidated house, completely alone, with no job, no money, and no one to bail him out. He tried to sell the house, but it was in such bad shape, he couldn't get a decent offer. He even tried to reach out to my friends, crying about how I abandoned him. But my friends? They'd heard enough from me. They knew what kind of person he was. He was basically blacklisted from our social circle. He ended up having to sell the house at a huge loss. And since I was still technically on the mortgage, I got hit with a financial blow too, but it was nothing compared to what he lost. He moved back in with his parents, a 34-year-old man, completely broke and alone. He's experiencing the same treatment he inflicted, amplified and inescapable. He's just a burnt-out, exhausted mess now, used to try but gave up, emotionally numb. And me? I'm here in London. I'm thriving. I have a great job, a cool apartment, and I'm finally living my life for me. I don't regret a single thing. He got what he deserved for being so weak, so easily manipulated. It's not my fault he couldn't handle being an adult. He's the one who let his ex wear my clothes and sleep in our bed. I just reacted. And honestly, I don't care anymore what anyone else thinks. They can all go to blazes for all I care. I'm just glad I got out when I did.